My husband's sister leaned over at dinner and whispered, "No one cares what you have to say." My husband laughed. "She's just playing around." I smirked and said, "Oh, I love games too." Their laughter stopped instantly when I stood up and said something that exposed a secret they thought I didn't know. I never realized just how spineless my husband was until that night. Sure, I had my suspicions over the years. He always avoided confrontation, always let things slide when his family made me uncomfortable. I brushed it off because I wanted to believe he was just trying to keep the peace. But keeping the peace only works when both sides are willing to respect each other. And his family? They never respected me. My husband, Mark, grew up in a tight-knit family. They had money, they had status, and they had this ridiculous belief that they were better than everyone else. His parents, Steve and Diane, were the typical old-money couple from Chicago. Formal dinners, golf club memberships, charity events where they donated just enough to have their names engraved on something. Then there was Allison, Mark's older sister. She was their golden child. Always the smartest, always the prettiest, always the most successful, even though her entire life was funded by her parents. She had a sharp tongue, a fake smile, and the ability to make backhanded insults sound like casual conversation. And for some reason, she hated me. I don't know if it was because Mark married someone outside of their little social bubble, or because I actually worked for what I had, but from the moment we got engaged, she made it clear I wasn't one of them. She would interrupt me mid-sentence, roll her eyes when I spoke, and if I ever dared to share an opinion at the dinner table, she'd let out this long, exaggerated sigh like she was being forced to endure my presence. Mark always told me to ignore it. "It's just how she is," he'd say. "She doesn't mean anything by it." He was wrong. She meant every word. Steve and Diane invited us over for Sunday dinner. It was a big deal because Steve had just closed some huge business deal, and they wanted to celebrate. Allison was there, of course, sitting at the head of the table like she owned the place. Dinner started the same way it always did. Small talk. Boring stories about people I didn't know. The occasional jab from Allison about my outfit, my job, or something else insignificant. I stayed quiet. I had learned over the years that speaking up only made things worse. Then, at some point, the conversation shifted to a topic I actually knew something about: business acquisitions. It was literally part of my job. So, for the first time that evening, I decided to contribute. I barely got a full sentence out before Allison cut me off. "Anyway," she said loudly, turning to her parents. Back to what we were actually talking about. Mark didn't say a word. He just kept eating like he didn't notice. I forced myself to swallow the irritation bubbling up in my chest. Fine, whatever. It wasn't worth it. Then, as the plates were being cleared, Allison leaned in close to me. With a smug little smile, she whispered, "No one cares what you have to say." I froze. Not because I was shocked, she had always been awful, but because she was so bold about it. Like I was